So tuition fees are now after the budget. The rise in tuition fees is likely to take place in their engorged, inflamed form, and at the heart of this issue lies a delicate balancing act between financial sustainability for universities and equitable access for students. And for the first time since 2017, university tuition fees in England have been increased from £9,250 to £9,535 for the 2025 to 26 academic year. And Education Secretary Bridget Phillipson has indicated this is just the beginning, with fees expected to surpass £10,000 by the end of this Parliament. Linking fees to inflation, forecast at around 2% annually until 2028, signals a shift towards a more dynamic and perhaps contentious funding model. The rise comes because of a financial crisis for universities. Inflation has eroded the real term value of fees, reducing the purchasing power of the 9,000 threshold introduced in 2012 to just under 6,000 in today's money. Consequently, universities are operating at a loss of roughly £2,500 per domestic student annually, according to the Russell Group. The funding challenges are exacerbated by dwindling international student numbers, and recruitment of these higher-paying students, often a financial lifeline, has plummeted by up to 30% in some institutions because of tighter visa regulations and economic crises in countries like Nigeria, and also, frankly, because of the clear sense that students feel when they come to the UK that they are unwelcome. This has left universities increasingly reliant on domestic tuition fees, which have remained stagnant for over a decade. In November, the Office for Students warned of a £3.4 billion income decline across the sector, with nearly 75% of universities projected to face deficits by September 2025. And these financial pressures have already led to voluntary redundancies, course closures, and reduced module choices, impacting the quality of education for students. The Labour government's strategy involves more than just fee hikes. Bridget Phillipson envisages reforms tied to these increases, such as raising teaching quality, improving access for disadvantaged students, fostering innovation. And the Department for Education aims to position universities as engines of opportunity, economic growth, and aspiration. But critics argue that this vision, while laudable, is undermined by insufficient investment. Now, Nick Hillman of the Higher Education Policy Institute points out that the most recent fee increase barely offsets the rise in employers' national insurance contributions, leaving a net gain of just £18 million annually for universities, nothing like enough to address the funding gaps in the system. So universities are being hit with, again, a sort of triple whammy of or students are being hit by this national insurance employers' contribution rise, by the rise in tuition fees, and by the reduction in the number of foreign students coming who are paying the larger fees and therefore subsidising the domestic university education. Higher fees inevitably spark concerns about affordability and access, and for students from lower income backgrounds, even incremental increases widens the opportunity gap. The government has promised that any rise will come with measures to improve access, but critics remain sceptical. Additionally, linking fees to inflation introduces financial unpredictability for students and families, making university education an increasingly burdensome investment. On the other hand, universities argue that stable, inflation-linked fee increases are essential for maintaining quality and ensuring financial sustainability. Vivian Stern, Chief Executive of Universities UK, says that such predictability allows for longer-term planning and avoids the financial crises caused by stagnant fees. In the middle of all these challenges, universities remain critical to the UK's broader economic and social goals, from driving innovation in cutting-edge industries to narrowing regional opportunity gaps. They are vital contributors to national renewal. However, achieving these ambitions requires a funding model that ensures both institutional stability and broad access. And the proposed fee increases, coupled with reforms aiming to realign universities with these national priorities may not be sufficient. This approach risks alienating both students, burdened by higher costs, and institutions grappling with rising expenses. The debate over tuition fees reflects broader questions about the purpose and the funding of higher education. Are universities primarily engines of economic growth or beacons of opportunity? Are they the last port in a sort of Ford Model T factory type thing where you put in a child at primary school and you bring them out after undergraduate level? Universities must be measured by their postgraduate, by their research options and their research capacity. And that is that has been seriously damaged by Brexit. So we've got more than a triple whammy. Universities are being badly abused by a succession of stupid governments that aren't thinking even inside the box, let alone outside the box. Funding should prioritise institutional stability as well as student affordability. These are not easy issues, but not easy questions, but they demand answers. And as we look towards the future, one thing is surely clear. The sustainability of the UK's higher educational system cannot rest solely on the shoulders of students. It requires a collaborative effort between the government, universities, and broader society to ensure that our higher education institutions remain both accessible and globally competitive. And at the moment, neither is on the cards as a possibility.